welcome to my channel. My name is Brianne Beebe. I'm a high school math teacher and I had maternity leave this crazy school year from the end of September until just about the beginning of December in 2021. So while I wanted to do a video about preparing for maternity leave and I had questions about it, I know that what happened for this year might not be super applicable for other teachers in the future, but I wanted to share about it anyway, even though it's a little bit different than what I would have done in a normal school year. So I knew that my maternity leave would be for 8 weeks because I was planning on having a C-section, and all that came out of my sick time, which I had plenty of because I never used sick days for like the first several years. And when I mean never, I mean like I took a day here or there because I was sick, but I didn't really do a whole lot more than that because I was only having to really worry about myself. I didn't have kids. Once you have kids, it's a totally different game. You use way more sick time. But anyway, I started getting ready for my maternity leave in June. And just the way that things work in New York is the last roughly 2 weeks of school are Regents exams. So that actually gives us a lot of downtime because they're testing a different 2 subjects each day. So if it's not a math test and there's nothing for us to grade from a previous day of testing, we are given unstructured time where you're basically preparing your classroom for the summer and just putting things away and wrapping up the school year, getting grades done, all those kinds of things. So this past school year wasn't quite like that. We had, I think it was maybe like 4 to 5 days of testing. It was a really bizarre situation, but we still had some of that downtime, or I should say unstructured time, where I was able to choose how I wanted to spend my time. And what I did was set up all of my files so that they would be ready for someone to come in for me for my maternity leave. Because given what we went through last school year, in June I didn't really know what was going to happen, whether I would need digital versions of everything or the actual paper versions. So I organized everything I had digital, and then I uploaded everything that I had paper-wise just to help those teachers out that did come in for me. So here's what a Google Drive folder looks like for one of my courses. This is our remedial geometry class. I have the master folder that has everything, and then I have folders for each unit that I teach. So everything that's here with a color other than purple is for this particular school year. And then I have the stuff that we've done the last 2 school years in these folders here in case I wanted to go back and reference anything. So when I go into one of the unit folders, this is everything that we've worked on this particular school year. And in the master folder, we have all of the units again. I put the number in the front so that they are in numerical order. There's also a bonus folder here of subplans. So that's anything that I don't currently use as a part of my regular teaching. I've put it in there so it's like an extra activity or something that I could assign students. So in one of these unit folders, I have everything laid out. I have notes, practice activities. I might have videos in my other course folders. This one's mostly notes, practice. Here it just says worksheet. So this is everything for this unit. And then I have a folder of paper activities all right here. So this is everything that I've used in the past school years where I was able to use paper. Okay, so over the summer I was kind of anxious because I still did not know what to expect going into the school year. My school posted my leave replacement, I think like 3 different times over the summer. Like they were on top of it. They posted it right away. I made sure to put in my letter that I would be taking maternity leave way ahead of time so that they would have time to prepare, and I'll tell you what happened in a little bit. But I'm gonna do a tour of what I did leave. I basically just put together this massive Google Doc of everything I could think of that someone coming in for me would need. So what I have included is my schedule, important dates that were coming up, important documents, grading policy, rules that I have, general procedures, how I post to Google Classroom is in there, and then I have links for my scope and sequences, my lesson plans, and my files. So I will do a tour of what that looks like here.
So this is my maternity leave guide. It is 6 pages long. This up here is a table of contents. So you can click on these links and it will take you directly to one of the sections of this document. So to get that, I go up to Insert, Table of Contents, and I just add whatever I want. So I added the blue link version so that people knew to click on this. And in order to get these parts up here, when I type out the different sections, so when I typed out schedule, I had to go to this section right here and make it a heading. So you have different options here. Typically it starts out as normal text, so you have to toggle it over to something different. And then as I was working on this, to keep updating the table of contents, I had to hit this button right here and it would add anything else that I added or adapt to any changes that I made. So first up I have my schedule. Then I have important dates, important documents. So these are links. So I have my rosters, IEP 504 info, parent contact info, my grading policies for the different courses, more notes about the grading policies, rules that I have for my students that I wanted enforced while I was gone, our procedures so that anyone that came in knew what our procedures were and they could keep those going. I did a virtual scavenger hunt, and that's what this links to. So this is for the person to be able to check out the virtual scavenger hunt so that they could see where everything was and what it looked like. That was a little extra. I put how I like to post things to Google Classroom. So all of my Google Classroom assignments look like that. So I put a dot for the day. It coordinates a rainbow order throughout the week, the number for the lesson, the title, and then the date. It's overkill, but that way it's like really easy to communicate to students what to look for. Then I have links to my scope and sequences. So this will pop up with the actual scope and sequence that I use. These are from the templates that are available in my TPT store. But it was easy just to have those linked. And then the same thing with the lesson plans. This is something that I sell, but the template is amazing. So I linked those so that whoever came in for me could keep doing the lesson plans in the same document. And then I have links to the files. So how to get through geometry, I went through and kind of explained that a little bit.
So that document I had ready to share with the teachers taking over for me because my school was never able to find one person to come in and take over my classes. So what ended up happening was they split up my course load and distributed it among my math department colleagues. And this was completely voluntary. They're compensated for this. Like, my school's really good about stuff like that. Our union's really good. We have a really good contract, and no one was basically forced to do something that they didn't want to do necessarily, at least as far as I know. But in short, I had a bunch of teachers take over for me for different classes. So that was kind of interesting. But as I was getting closer and closer to my maternity leave, I of course was feeling a little panicked because I knew it wouldn't necessarily be a given, but I was hoping that I might be able to meet the person that would be taking over for my classes so I could talk with them and just basically be a resource for them, because once I'm on maternity leave, I'm not really conversing with anyone so much because, you know, I have a baby. So that didn't get to happen. And in fact, the whole first week, they didn't really know what they were going to do with me not being there. But regardless of whether I had one teacher coming in for me or what actually happened, I made sure that I had one full week of plans left ahead of time. So I had everything scheduled in Google Classroom, and I left out a document that just basically laid out what every class was doing, where to find the different things, all that good stuff. So if it had been a situation where my school was able to find someone to come in for me, then they would have had time to get to know the kids, to acclimate, to start planning for the following week without having to worry about the current week. That was important to me because that's just how I plan, and that's not what I would expect coming into a maternity leave, but what I would hope for. So that's everything I can think of to discuss leaving and setting up for my maternity leave. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.